Supreme Matriarch of Nangao. Master of the Storm Winds. Daughter of the Dragon Emperor.
Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, Master of the Storm Winds and Supreme Matriarch of Nangao, is the ruler of the northern provinces of Cathay and Castilian of the Great Bastion. As the eldest child of the imperial family, she is an immortal dragon who can take human form. This makes her incredibly powerful combatant, an amazing sorcerer, and a natural leader. Miao Ying is arguably the most powerful dragon alive, save her mother and father. What's up, folks? This is going to be my Grand Cathay Miao Ying Total War Warhammer 3 campaign preview. We have a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. These are Miao Ying's campaign traits. Note, one has yet to be revealed. If I were to guess, I would say it likely has something to do with additional supplies faction-wide, based on her start location. She rules the City of Smoke, home to countless forges and workshops that furnish the armies of the Empire with weapons and provide countless war machines for the defense of the Great Bastion. In all honesty, there is a lot of potential for a strong campaign here. These are some very nice traits. -2 corruption and 20% ammunition for range. Faction-wide, 50% reduction for range units in her personal army, and with Cathay's roster, she's going to have access to excellent range early and late. This looks like a campaign that I personally would enjoy. How does Cathay play? The foremost mechanic we need to consider is harmony. This is a fundamental aspect of gameplay for Cathay, balance being the key. Everything in your campaign, from recruited lords, hired units, research technologies, to constructed buildings, will nudge the balance between yin and yang. This will all be tracked on a harmony bar. Maintaining the middle point provides the biggest reward, giving significant boons to all areas of your empire and a unique army ability to summon the spirits of ancestors long dead to help out in battle. It will also be important to build armies with a smooth combination of ranged and stalwart front lines, each representing yin and yang respectively. Placing yin and yang units near one another during battle will grant various bonuses. It may take some time to master the harmony mechanic. However, once you do, it should prove powerful. On to our next mechanic. The Wu Qing Compass is a great magical device built into the holy city of Wei Jin, created by the celestial dragon emperor to control the winds of magic within Grand Cathay. Its primary purpose is to project power to help defend the Great Bastion when it's under threat, but the progeny of the emperor can direct it as they wish to serve their purposes. Whenever the compass is directed to one of its 4 points, that area begins to fill with magic. Most provide a faction-wide buff that is always active, with another that is only available when the compass is pointed its way. As that area fills with magic, the passive ability grows in strength. However, if the compass is pointed elsewhere, the magic in the area begins to drop, depowering the passive. Definitely a useful tool for addressing changing needs throughout a campaign. Moving on to the Ivory Road, the central trade route in and out of Grand Cathay, running right through the lands of Zhao Ming and off to the Empire. When playing as a Grand Cathay faction, you can dispatch a caravan whenever you like, sending it along one of the many paths of the Ivory Road. This will take it through various regions, some of which may prove treacherous. With each major rest stop along the route, various events and dilemmas can fire. Discovered friends, ogre mercenaries, new routes, and many more surprises await upon the road. These can result in battles, bonuses, further cargo, or any combination. Once a caravan reaches a destination, You will receive money based on cargo amount and some other factors, and it will begin to return home. At this point, another caravan can be sent out. Each caravan has its own leader, a new lord type with a unique blue skill tree for increasing the boons of caravans, extra cargo, more replenishment between rest stops, etc. They can naturally also take various combat upgrades. The key to this mechanic is finding safe routes or building caravans that can take the punishment of the big, wide world, plus making smart decisions about how and when to fight. While somewhat of a passive mechanic, sending trade caravans along the Ivory Road should provide players with valuable intel, economic bonuses, and possibly rare items and equipment, a mechanic players will definitely want to take advantage of. Our next feature is the Great Bastion. It sits in the northernmost part of Grand Cathay and is vital to the defense of the Empire, its people, and the world. The Great Bastion takes the form of a massive, impassable wall with 3 gates that must be controlled and held by the forces of Grand Cathay. Chaos forces are constantly attempting assaults on it, but larger ones come from a slow buildup of forces in the wastes. These must be dealt with through sallying forth or preparing your defenses with commandments at each gatehouse if you hold them. Threat to the Great Bastion is tracked through a meter at the top of the screen, which fills as Chaos prepares an assault, and descends if they are defeated. Keeping the threat low and reaching 0 are looked on favorably by the Celestial Dragon Emperor, who will reward those who do so. Allowing a breach as well as earning his ire means Chaos is now rampaging through the soft heartland of Cathay, a recipe for disaster. The Fortress Gate cities, the Snake Gate, the Dragon Gate, the Turtle Gate, share a unique building tree and commandments. These serve various purposes, and you will need to balance constant vigilance with the need for rest and recuperation at the edge of chaos. Once a gate is returned to its full glory at Tier 5, it reduces the cooldown on using the Wu Jing compass. Quite literally the backbone of Miao Ying's campaign, the Great Bastion will play a massive role in recruiting armies, earning experience for generals, and defending a prosperous empire. A quick word on research. Cathay has a branching technology tree with convergences throughout. What we can see here looks like about a third of the total tech tree. Each technology research pushes your harmony in the direction of either yin or yang permanently, with some doing this multiple times. That makes it a balancing act between what you need to buff your armies and your needs for harmony. We'll leave it there regarding research for now, since we don't yet know what any of these technologies do. You can bet there will be some good ones in here, but considering the delicate balancing of harmony required throughout your campaign, you will want to take extra care in planning your research. Now on to Conquest. Before we decide where to send Ying's indestructible forces, let's consider what those armies will look like and who will lead them. Starting with Ying herself, as mentioned earlier, she grants powerful bonuses for ranged units. In addition to this, Miao has access to a unique selection of spells from the lores of Yin and Life. She is also endowed with the ability Disdain of Dragons. All enemies who try to combat her will find themselves at a significant disadvantage. Dragon-blooded lords are the magic wielders of Grand Cathay. The dragon-blooded fight with either the lore of Yang or the lore of Yin. Each takes its power from the Celestial Dragon Emperor and is a unique school passed down through the ages. The lore of Yang focuses on buffing allies with resolute belief or disrupting enemies with walls of wind. In dire situations, it can also unleash mighty explosions upon the enemy, bringing with it the power of the Celestial Dragon Emperor himself. The lore of Yin is a more esoteric school, with the power to reflect projectiles or summon the ghosts of the dead to assist in battle. Those who practice it can shield their allies and remove foes in the dead of night. Be they generals or lords of one of Grand Cathay's gargantuan cities, Lord Magistrates are some of the best the Empire has to offer. Magistrates may ride aboard a sky lantern commanding their troops from above with a more strategic view of the battlefield. Their true strength lies in their ability to bring the best of Grand Cathay to their fore, vastly increasing the bonuses received by troops working in harmony with one another. The lores of yin and yang are not the only magics practiced in Grand Cathay, though they are the most favored. Alchemists gravitate to the Iron Dragon in the west and the city of Shangyang precisely because he is uncommonly accepting of their talents and practices. Over the years, this has grown into a powerful cabal that often sees its members hired by generals all over the empire as their capabilities are far beyond that of most mortals. Their potions imbue them with spells from the lore of metal, as well as giving them unique buffs that can be applied to themselves or nearby units, providing massive bonuses to attack or armor. Astromancers are the accepted sorcerers of Grand Cathay, practicing the Celestial Dragon Emperor's favorite lore of heavens and harnessing it to an expert level thanks to the natural affinity between their leader and the Azir wind. After more than 5,000 years of perfecting the art, they are quite adept, and only more so when riding to battle aboard the Wu Qing War Compass. There is a lot of versatility here. Armor, deadly range, war machines, and fast airborne cavalry. Cathay seems almost like a dwarf, dark elf, and Empire hybrid with a dash of Bretonia. It's hard to say what their Doomstack potential is without seeing some stats and more battle footage. However, Cathay will likely thrive with balanced armies that optimize their impressive ranged firepower. A few notable units that stand out for me are the Crane Gunners. 2 people carry these into battle. One is positioned at the trigger, ready to sight and shoot anything at massive range. The other carries the tower shield on which the gun rests, steadying the shooter as well as providing built-in cover. Well protected and deadly at range, a perfect sniper. Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. While I don't believe they've been revealed in any of CA's Cathay footage as of yet, the top tier crossbows should be a Dark Shard variant with potentially more armor piercing and range. They are also heavily armored and carry shields, giving them considerable staying power in a skirmish or even holding a line for a brief time. I think these boys could potentially make their way into a Doomstack. Of course, I have to mention Grand Cathay's ancient protectors, the Terracotta Sentinels. These are remnants of an era long past when the Celestial Dragon Emperor was an active leader in the nation's armies. Tales of the creation range from the believable to the legendary, that each was a personally blessed soldier of the Dragon Emperor in a great army to fend off chaos in its earliest years. Depending on their upkeep cost and performance, these bad boys are another Doomstack hopeful. Looking at the war machines, there's some curious units. I'll admit I'm skeptical of the 2 lantern variants. They look like huge, slow-moving targets to me. They may, however, be able to deal significant damage, death from above. It's a unit that warrants some experimentation in my opinion. If they're too expensive or awkward on the battlefield, I feel like they will likely be forgotten. The artillery, on the other hand, looks very nice. Both the Grand Cannon and Fire Range rockets look deadly. They are pulled by oxen, giving them an edge in mobility over other artillery pieces. Shouldn't be long before we have an idea how their range compares to other factions' artillery. Note the cannon does have more range than the rockets. The Wu Qing War Compass now is more of a wild card. This miniaturized version of the Great Compass is a powerful tool for manipulation of the elemental winds. Imbued with the power of the heavens and intricately designed as a weapon of war, meteors and lightning storms are summoned in its wake. While expensive to build and maintain, they are a truly unique weapon. let's consider what we know of Cathay now in relation to the Warhammer 3 map as a whole. So the start location is here in the Gunpowder Road. The Ivory Road is to the south of us here, and you can see the winding path. So definitely be taking advantage of that mechanic. The Great Bastion is here, protecting us from the Red Wastes. Now, I think obviously this territory, most of this territory in around here will be suitable climate. So you want to consolidate as much of this as early as possible, either through conquest or confederation, whatever options are available for you, or whatever the best options are available to you. You'll absolutely need to protect the Great Bastion. You get pretty severe penalties, I believe, if you lose one of the gates. So whether that be it your faction holding it initially or one of the other factions. Now, the fact that Chaos builds in the Red Wastes here and continually attacks the Bastion, you also have the option to sally out here. I don't know if you'll have the option to occupy this territory. However, if you do, it's almost certainly not going to be worth it. Having said that, there may be a really great opportunity here to farm experience and supplement your economy with post-battle loot here in the Red Waste. So I feel like sending an army out here, whether it's Ying's army or a secondary army, to fight with the forces of chaos and manage this situation, just sort of staying close to the Great Bastion, but lowering the threat of chaos and at the same time gaining experience. I feel like there's a really unique opportunity there potentially. And then aside from that, once you've sort of built up your provinces, I think that's when you'll want to start expanding west or to the south. This looks like it's the type of terrain that'll be difficult to manage if you're not one of the factions that can use the underways. So this could definitely be a difficult area. These areas here, probably a lot of chaos, corruption, and things like that. And then we've got the Empire down there. So, I mean, it really, you know, well, and not to mention, we've got the Realms of Chaos up here, which is where you'll be fighting those survival battles. So, yeah, should make for a very, very interesting campaign. It's hard to say, you know, beyond the initial start where you'll end up headed in your own campaigns, but it definitely looks like it should be a lot of fun. New map, always nice, and I can't wait for when they combine this with the Mortal Empires map and the Vortex map. So should be really, really good time playing as Grand Cathay and Miao Ying. That is gonna just about do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, I would ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. Really helps with the algorithm. You know, trying to build the channel slowly but surely, but any help or support is greatly appreciated. What do you think, guys? What did I miss? What faction do you think you will play as first in Warhammer 3? And what faction would you like to see me preview in a future video? So let me know in the comments. Everyone have a great day and take care.